Hi, everyone. It's me, Rudy Shinoko from the Magicians Forum, and I am here once again with my friend Harry Lorayne. And I have this great opportunity once again to listen to some of the stories firsthand that are written, many of them, and before I forget, some of them are found in Apocalypse, scattered throughout in ellipses and certain sections like that. This story here is titled Igor, Harry. It's on page 162, which, by the way, if you don't have Before I Forget, you can get it at harrylorrainemagic.com. I have the link here at the bottom, and you can get this wonderful, hard to put down book. But you titled this Igor. Now, Harry, you have traveled all over the world.
Yeah,
You stayed, in immaculate places. I'm sure where princes and presidents stayed. Maybe you can talk about some of those incredible places, so that way we can contrast those with where you stayed here in this particular vignette
I
called.
have been all over, just about all over the world, Rudy. You know, somebody asked me just recently at my dentist office. I got friendly with the lady that calls me all the time, and she said, "What's the thing that stands out in your mind in all your travels?" You know what's interesting? They're all blending,
Hmm.
Rudy. The one thing, you know how I answered her? I said the Eiffel Tower. That was the first thing that came to my mind, was the Eiffel Tower in Paris. I spent a lot of time in Paris, but I spent a lot of time in other places too. The one thing that came to my mind was the Eiffel Tower. We spent a lot of time there, Renee and I and Bobby. We had dinner at the Eiffel Tower quite often. You know, so what's unfortunate, I'm stopping when I say the word unfortunate. I've been fortunate to be able to travel to all these places all over the world. Unfortunately, a lot of it blends in my mind, you
Hmm.
know. So that's interesting. The Eiffel Tower, Paris, was the thing that came to mind when I was asked in all my travels all over the world. That was it.
Hmm. So, in looking for places to stay, it seemed that Renee was thumbing through some kind of magazine, and there's a magazine with a small hotel located in a town in the hills above Florence, Italy. And she read that some potentate or other used to stay in that room, a beautiful place by all accounts. And so you, yeah, make this vision of hers to stay in a joint like that come true. And Bobby came with you. So what did this trip look like for you? Because it didn't sound like
Oh
it
boy,
was great.
oh boy, that's some memory. I don't know how many people are interested in things like that when they read Before I Forget. It's just, when I was writing it, that came to mind. To me, it's something I can't really forget. Bobby was about 6 years old. And as you said, Renee saw this in a magazine. She showed me the pictures. They were beautiful. And we were just at the time planning to take a trip to Europe. Well, long story short, I called and I made a reservation for 10 days. I can't even think of the name at the moment, but it was, as you said, in a town above north of Florence, Italy. Florence, we knew quite well. We had stayed there,
Mhm.
often, and I'd spent a lot of time there. This place I had never heard of. Anyway, we go there, and it's beautiful. It looked beautiful, and guy by the name of, I gave him the name, incidentally. I don't know if I say that in the book. He reminded me of a character I had seen in a movie, a guy 7 feet tall and looked like a monster whose name was Igor in the movie. So when I saw this guy when we arrived and he came to take our luggage, the name Igor came to mind. So what his real name is or was, I have no idea. But to me, he was Igor. And he came, the memories in my mind. I don't know if I wrote this in the book. As you know, Rudy, I'm finding it difficult to read my own book. I can't, because my one good eye ain't that good anymore. So anyway, he had all our luggage. I don't remember. There was a suitcase for Bobby, one for Renee, one for me, I guess. He had all that under one arm and a folding bed. This is my memory, under the other arm, because we needed a folding bed for Bobby. And that's what he had. He took us to the room. Well, he took us to the room. He put the stuff down. The room looked beautiful. We looked out the window and we looked down at a scene of Florence, Italy. It was fine. Now we unpacked, etc. Everything was fine. It looked good. It was late in the day. We enjoyed. One of the things that comes to mind, which I didn't put in the book, and I don't know why it comes to my mind now, we never saw anyone at this place, other people, no other people except the people that worked there, like Igor and the lady at the desk. It just came to mind. I don't remember if I wrote that in the book, that we saw no other people. Anyway, here's the point of this whole thing. We go to bed. The next morning, we hadn't ordered breakfast yet. Renee says to me, "Hun," she didn't look, there was a look of worry or nervousness in her face. I said, "Honey, are you okay?" She said, "Well, hon, would you do anything for me?" Something like that. I said, "Of course I would do anything for you. What can I do for you?" She said, "Get me the hell out of here." So I said, "What? Why?" Nowadays, I have to get up 5 times a night to go to the darn bathroom. In those days, fortunately, I slept through the night. I said, what happened? It seems she had to get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. And when she opened the door and put on the light, she told me she saw bugs all over the wall and all over the floor.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. She said, I found it difficult to use to go into the bathroom. And then she started to look around, and what it seemed, and we checked it as she told me, we started to looked under the bed, and there was a pile of dirt under there. It seemed that they had, instead of using a vacuum, it seems they used a broom, I don't know, to shovel the dirt under the bed, and we didn't see it. When we arrived, maybe they used a spray to take care of the smell, I don't know. But we saw a bunch of garbage under the bed. And then I said to Renee, "You're right, we gotta get out of here. Let's have breakfast and we'll get out of here." Now came the breakfast thing. This is one of the things I remember very clearly. I called down, I ordered breakfast, and everything. Igor came with the breakfast. And I also forgot to mention that when we checked in and looked around, I checked the waste paper basket. First, I checked the refrigerator, because one of the things we used to do, Rudy, when we traveled, I would take all the stuff out. I would ask the hotel to do this, and I'd say I'd pay an extra charge if I have to take most of the stuff out of there, the liquor and the champagne, all of them, which we didn't use, so we could put our own stuff in there. So here I didn't do that. I should have, but I checked the refrigerator, and I saw 3 bottles of champagne, 2 of them full, unopened, 1 empty. What I should have done is call down right away, but I didn't. I don't remember why. I took out the empty bottle and threw it in the waste basket. That's an important part of this stupid story. So anyway, we order breakfast. Igor puts all the stuff, comes in with the rolling thing, and he leaves. We're getting ready to eat, and we ordered a bowl of cornflakes for Bobby. How can I forget this? We're looking for the milk. Story short, no milk. There was no milk for the cornflakes. The cornflakes have cost, and I'm going by my memory now of many decades ago, but I remember the cornflakes, the bowl of cornflakes for Bobby costing $4. It was a lira, but in those days I broke it down to about $4. I call down and I say, I can't find any milk. You forgot the pitcher of milk for the cornflakes. She said, "Oh, no, that's separate." Again, long story short, cost me $2 to get milk for Bobby's cornflakes. Can you believe that? I said, "You're going to charge me extra?" "Well, sorry, yes, that's our system here, whatever." Well, I'm not going to let Bobby do without milk for his cornflakes, for $2. I said, "Of course, send it up, please." Here comes Igor with the little pitcher of milk. After we ate, we said, "Now let's get out of here." So I called down. I forgot the excuse I used. I said, "Something's come up. We have to leave." I didn't want to say, "We hate this place," I said, "Something's come up. We have to leave. Please prepare the bill, blah, blah, blah." We packed up. We started. I didn't want to call Igor to carry the luggage. Bobby, at 6 years old, helped me with 1 suitcase, which he was able to get his own little suitcase. And we walked down. I started to load the car. I went into the office. I paid the bill, and we got into the car. Now, here's the point I'll never forget. As I get into the car, I close the door and I turn. Thank God the car started right away. I look behind me and I see Igor running out of the front door with this empty bottle of champagne in his hand, and he's holding it up here and he's screaming at me. I couldn't hear what he was saying. Of course, I was in the car, we just started, but I see the anger in his face. This giant, he's 7 feet tall, for God's sakes, and he's running toward me with the empty bottle of champagne. Obviously, I knew what it was. They were going to say that I drank the champagne and they wanted the money for it, like they wanted money for an extra pitcher of milk or cornflakes, for God's sakes. You know, as I tell you this story, Rudy, the thought comes to mind. I've been very lucky. I traveled to beautiful places all over the world. It's interesting that this one terrible place is I only remember it's one place that was awful of all my travels. So I guess, again, I'm fortunate. Incidentally, I forgot to tell you that before we left, because I'm mentioning wonderful places, I called the one hotel that we used to stay at in Florence was the Medici. I think that's the name of the hotel, the Medici, which was at that time. I don't know about now, obviously. I'm talking about, like almost 5 decades ago. But they were the best known hotel at the time in Florence. And I called them, and fortunately, they had a room, which I was surprised at, but they had a room that got for small favors, and of course I didn't know who else to call at the time, because I didn't care at that point, even if we couldn't find another hotel. I had to get out of this one, So anyway, we're in the car and back to the city, at Igor running toward the car, screaming things that I couldn't hear with the bottle of champagne. And fortunately, as he got closer, the car started and I was able to get out of there, Thank God I never saw Igor again and never saw this hotel again. And ended that story, we checked into the Medici. And I think the way I ended it in the book is that the next morning we ordered breakfast and I ordered cornflakes for Bobby again. And there was a pitcher of milk on the table for the cornflakes. And it was half the price. Bobby's breakfast was half the price at the Medici, this famous, world famous hotel, that it was at this little junk place we had stayed.